Welcome to Pop Chat. My name is Annette Tarpley. I am the founder of the Passion of Poetry, and I am so delighted to have again on Pop Chat the lovely Kim B. Miller. Hi, Kim.
Hey, Annette, how you doing?
Good, good, good. I'm glad you came back. You have been a busy woman. You have been a
Yes,
wanted woman in many arenas, and I'm so excited to have you share with us all the things that you've been doing. Is marvelous. So, what I think I'll do first is I'm going to have you go ahead and tell us about you, like we did last time, and then we will come back and we will chat and have some fun today. We've got all kinds of stuff planned, right?
we sure do.
Um, and just in case anybody doesn't recognize me, I got a really short haircut yesterday, not on purpose. It just kind of happened in the hands of the hair artist, I guess. It's like Edward Scissorhands or whatever his name is. It was
Snip,
like,
snip.
oh, I know. I was like going, I don't know whether to say anything because I knew she was like taking off too much. The only thing I could say about it, Kim, is this: I don't have to get a haircut for a while yet, so
Exactly.
it's all
There's
good.
that.
Gonna give the stage to you, darling.
All right. So, my name is Kim B. Miller, and I am a spoken word poet. I am a host, facilitator, speaker, haikuist, author. I'm a multidisciplinary performing artist. I started off, believe it or not, in telecommunications and in marketing and director of operations. And I went to my true calling, which is performing arts. I have about 5 books, I believe, that are live now. I took one out of circulation. The ones that are currently out are all poetry books. My first book was a parent alienation book called How to Love Your Kids More Than You Hate That Man. That's the one I pulled out of circulation. The other one I pulled out was a journal that was temporary journal for 6 weeks, 6 months, excuse me. So those 2 books I pulled out of circulation, but all my other poetry books are live. I recently did a TEDx talk on blame, and you can find that on TEDx YouTube page. I also have my own YouTube page. I am Kim B. Miller on most platforms. I love words. I love touching people with words. And I think words are a catalyst to change that people underutilize.
Marvelous. I agree with you there. So you have done so much. It just truly amazes me. You're just multifaceted. You have so many talents. Um, and you articulate well and you just move it, girl. So I guess I was trying to think earlier. I thought, I'm going to ask her of all the accolades and all the things that you have achieved, including your poet laureate. If you could name one thing that you are proudest of having achieved, what would it be?
Hmm. It is definitely none of the accolades, even though I have some I'm so grateful for. So I don't want people to be like, oh, you got these accolades, you don't care. No, I care because it shows that people thought about me and cared about me. So for every one of those accolades, I am truly thankful. But the thing that gets me the most is changing someone's mind. And what I mean by that is I also teach parenting classes and I, as you know, do poetry, spoken word poetry, perform it. And when someone had a solid point that they were not moving from, and something I said moved them from it, that is my greatest accomplishment. To get someone to open up that closed mind.
You know what? I think that that is the perfect answer. I really do, because it really is. It's so empowering, isn't it? When you think of lives that you touch and you change. And I always say if I can touch one life, but we touch many.
Right.
So it's humbling, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Yeah. But yeah, what power we have in our words and our thoughts, and that you can make that difference. I mean, that's huge. That's huge. And a great answer. We let me see. We do not have any comments. We have some people watching, but I don't see where anybody's commented. Feel free to leave your comments. you wish while you're joining the show, the program. I'm really excited, Kim, to um, hear you do your thing. You gave I kind of want to start off there because you're kind of an impromptu, off the cuff spoken word artist. You just fly by the seat of your pants, which I totally admire. Totally admire. You're not really fly, but it's so creative.
Yes.
It's just a little scary. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
is it scary when you're doing it? A little, maybe.
The first time I did it, I was, I will tell you, my friends know, I was the paper poet. In other words, I had my poems. I didn't memorize a lot, so I had my paper. And when I say I read for that paper, if it said "the," it said "the." It said "a," it said "a." There was no inference. There was no ad lib. I read exactly what was on the sheet of paper. And then, of course, God challenged me to, a friend of mine was having an open mic, and she said, "I want you to be the host." I said, "I don't host." She goes, "Sure you do." I said, "No, I don't." And she said, "Sure you do." I said, "You know what? Okay, let me try it." And when you're hosting, you have to be impromptu. You have to be able to interact with the crowd and get them into the performance and to say something about what the person just said, sang,
Yeah,
perform something. So that's when I got into the impromptu part.
yeah,
And I also got into that with kids, believe it or not, because when I taught classes to kids in school, different grade levels, all the way from regular grade school to high school, when you're talking to kids about poetry, you just can't go in there with your long, in my opinion, for people start complaining, in my opinion, you just can't go with your long poems and then I'm a poet, blah, 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 I'm poet laureate, blah, blah, blah. They don't want to hear that. So, that's why I love performing for kids, because kids have no cut cards. You either got it or you don't. So a lot
yeah,
of times, if I get a group, even if I don't get a group who's not into it, but I always, not always, most of the time I do a thing of give me 6 words or 8 words and I make a poem on the spot. And they're like, wait a minute, you could just, yeah, you can.
yeah. So great.
Fortnite, it could be, I don't care what they say, I make it into the poem. So I think it was those two things that got me comfortable with
Yeah,
just, Kim, it doesn't have to be on the paper.
yeah. Well, most people probably know from having watched this, if you watched it any at all. Mine is very impromptu, nothing scripted, everything's off the cuff. Whether it goes right, wrong, it is what it is. So I once attended one that was scripted, and it was so scripted that it was painfully obvious. So
Yes.
I just couldn't stand it. I thought, in fact, I threw a couple things off the fly in there, and they were like panicking because it's like they didn't know the answer to it, and it was like, um, so I just kind of fly off the cuff. What it is, or isn't, and I think it's more natural, don't you think?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I get that it's uncomfortable, but it's okay to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, it can be a little uncomfortable. I always say to people, if I ask you a question, if you don't want to answer, you don't answer it. I did have one person on one time that it was uncomfortable for me. It was a very short pop chat.
Right.
This was some time ago, but every question I asked was not answered. Dancing around it, above it, beyond it, never directly answered any question. And I didn't know what to do with that. That made me feel uncomfortable.
Right.
But that only happened one time. So that was
Oh,
good.
good. Good.
But I'm going to give the stage to you, darling. And what word did you choose, or what was the title you chose?
We chose blame. Well, I chose blame and gave it to Annette. She's a trooper for letting me. Thank you so much. So the subject is blame. I'm a chameleon, a shapeshifter, the one you walk with. I'm your best friend. You act like you don't know me. You take me with you everywhere. I am in your thoughts more than love and hope will ever be. You use me. You use me more than you admit. As a matter of fact, you pretend that I'm invisible. You pretend like you don't know me when you see me out in public, but you're the one who brought me there. You bought me the outfit I'm wearing. You got me these earrings. We have the matching set. Yet you look away like you don't know me. Of course you do. Oh, you want fear. Yeah, fear has always been a band-aid for me. Poor fear. Fear has taken so many punches for me. Fear is my big sister. She loves me. She loves me not. But that's okay. She'll always be in the forefront and I'll be in the background. Me, I'm blame. I'm the one you use when you need something to use or someone to use. It's never your fault. How could it be? It's my fault. Blame. Blame did it. Blame's the cause. Never you. How convenient. I'm your favorite crutch. The one you lean on every day. Truth? Who needs truth when you have me? You love me. You love everything about me, except accepting me. You don't accept blame. I'm the thing you avoid. I'm the thing you look past, but you're the one who dressed me today. You dress me every day. You take me with you everywhere. You use me at every possible turn, and then you act like you don't know me. You know me very well. You created me. Shoot. Without me, where would you be? Where would your thoughts be? You don't have an original thought without me. I'm your everything, which of course makes you nothing but who's counting. I am. I'm blame. The one you look past, but I'm holding your hand in your heart and your soul. So keep pretending like you don't know me. I'll see you tomorrow.
Now we know why you have the things you have, girlfriend, because that was so great. I was like, oh my gosh. That's why you are who you are, Kim B. Miller. It was wonderful. I just
Thank
got
you.
sat there the whole time thinking, oh my gosh, how did she do that? She's so good. And just our little impromptu thing later, I don't know how that's going to go because
Great, like we did last time. Phenomenal.
it's going to even be better this time, right?
That's right.
And you're starting out this time,
Ooh.
which is more challenging to me.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
So, my thing on blame that I wrote was okay. So apparently, y'all, I've been calling Tanjco's TAN, and there's apostrophe G, and then I don't know KO or something like that, thinking they were ascending, descending order, which they are. It's either you start out with 5 words down to one, and then one down to five, up to 5, or you can do the other way around. So it's ascending, descending order, and I thought it was words, but like haiku, it's really syllables. I looked it up last night. But I decided to keep the way I have it. Let's call it Anjco.
Oh, I like that.
Anjco. Like Annette. Anjco. I know.
Exactly.
So not syllables, words. Mine is, of course, called blame. Um, all right. So I'll kind of, break it up to where you know the line. So blame. Pointing fingers. Easily blaming others, rarely looking at self, readily ignoring the faults within. Change is a constant need, ability to detect faults, innate self awareness, facilitates growth, renewal, in tune with self, lessons of maturation, embracing the needed changes only you can make. Blame, directed within, can cause implosion, a collateral damaged soul. A soul can be rebuilt. Love of self is imperative. Forgive the past transgressions. Part of the journey. Bury blame. Arise. Awaken. Your purpose. Believe in yourself. Realize your full potential. Thrive in your future ahead. And that is it.
Yes.
So kind of different,
Hmm?
but yeah. But Angco, we'll call it Angco. That's what we'll call it.
Yes.
It might
Correct.
actually exist in some other form, but I don't know how to look it up. So we'll just forget about that. So, last time I asked you this question, and I should have went back and looked at it. Um, but I asked you the Aladdin's lamp question. Remember that? Oh, maybe
No,
I didn't. Maybe I didn't. Okay. Well,
you
here
may
you
have.
go.
Okay.
Yeah, I usually ask people this. So tomorrow you come across Aladdin's lamp and you are granted three wishes. You can wish anything you want, whatever in the world you want. Doesn't have to be humanity, can be selfish, whatever you want. What would you wish for?
The first thing I'd wish for is discernment for everyone. And what I mean for that, it doesn't matter where you live on the planet, you have instant discernment. So if I come and tell you the sky is purple, not because I put it in a TikTok video or I'm some famous star that said that it was purple, you have discernment and you're going to use it. So not just have it, and you're going to use it so that people are not so easily led, so that this is the most powerful thing on this planet. And when it's used by someone else, your limitation on what you can become and do is greatly taken away, is greatly diminished. So the first thing I would give is everybody on the planet has discernment and the ability to use it. So all these commercials and stuff that they make for us to manipulate and blah blah, we would automatically have discernment and use it. So that would definitely be number one.
Love it. Two.
Step two, I definitely don't want people hungry. So definitely everybody would have the ability to feed themselves. I'm making that distinction as opposed to giving people food, because if you give people food one time, how are they going to get it the second time? So everybody would instantly have the ability to feed themselves. So no one could take it away because it's an individual thing. So if that's a garden for that person, that's a garden. If they have all of a sudden inherited a supermarket, they inherited a supermarket. Whatever it is, everybody would have the ability to feed themselves.
So they have to be self-sustaining, right?
Yes.
Yes. Gotcha. Number two. Now we got three.
Third one, that one's difficult. Huh. There's so many needs. That's the problem, really. I'm leaning between healthcare and, of course, housing for everyone. We definitely have the ability to house everyone. But if you have housing and you're not healthy, so it's hard. But who wants to be healthy without a house? So that's why the last one is kind of tough. If I have to pick one between those two, I think I'm going to go with housing, even though I'm really leaning toward healthcare. Something that people have the ability to have a place to sleep that's safe and secure, and
Yeah.
that can't be taken away for at least, if I don't have to quantify it and it's my wish, then that would be it. If he comes back and say, well, that's indefinite, you can't do that, then I'd pick something, okay, a gazillion years.
Yeah.
you know we wouldn't be necessarily living that long, but it could go from person to person, so that people have those rights. But I went for the mind first because none of that stuff matters if your mind isn't right.
It's true. That's true. I always ask that question, and then my admin who interviewed me, Jill Tate, had interviewed me and asked me that question. I really wasn't prepared for that. So, but I was probably more selfish than other people were. So anyway, it is what it is or isn't. So I want you to share more of your wonderful work. So today, when you're here and you're sharing your wonderful works with us, are you going to be improving the whole time, or is there going to be some things you might be reading, or both?
I'll definitely, probably both, but some of it will be stuff that's written already. Yes, definitely.
Okay, great. So I'm going to give the stage back to you. Why don't you share a couple pieces with us?
Alrighty. And this one is already written, and it's titled We Write. We inhale a breath given, hold time in our lungs, exhaling slowly. We watch our thoughts materializing. We quilt words, written softly or etched in painful seasons. We write. We write to explain the words that only we can hear. An eternal argument with the pen refereeing. We write to tell a truth you can't swallow in its original form. We appetize love. We punch horror in your face. We slap you with abuse. We release painful memories that thought they found a forever home. We write. Some dare speak it. Everyone who writes is a weightlifter. Literature is heavy, sometimes pretty, always breathable. Pens hold sanity. We don't listen to reason, we create it. We never knew a gift could comfort itself. Medicine is in the pen. I've watched it heal. I've seen words release agony. Why write? Because somebody needs these literary vitamins. We all do. If words suffocate, there is no communication. Words are on life support because literature is seen as an accessory. So we write. We write hoping our truth finds rental property with the option to buy. We write for silence who wants no company. We write for us. We make breadcrumbs with our ink. We want you to find the point. We want you to embrace an undiscovered moment. We want you to hear us, read us, feel us, use us. We are your introduction to newness. We remind you of possibilities. We are writers. We write. Don't write us off.
That was brilliant. I loved it. You had
Thank
so many
you.
lines in there, and I'm not really good at writing, but I was like, oh, I got to write that down. Write that down. But you had so many lines in there that just, and I had you referred to the person that writes. Um, everyone that is writes is a weightlifter. That was brilliant. And then you said medicine is in the pen. So it is, isn't it? How many times has that been a healing source for so many people to write? It really is. A literary vitamin. Words are life supports, and then we make breadcrumbs with our ink. I thought that was
Yeah.
great. We kind of leave the trail with our ink. It was a brilliant piece. So
Thank
thanks
you.
for sharing that. Now, how long ago did you write that piece?
That one, I think it was year before last, if I recall correctly.
And then when you like, for instance, that piece, about how long does it take you to write something like that?
It really depends. I was on the subject of writing. I don't remember what I wrote it for, but I was on the subject of writing. So I was like, yes, I think that one took me about probably a few hours. And then I had to come back because sometimes I didn't have the ending I wanted. And a
Yeah.
couple of it didn't flow the way I wanted it. So probably from start to finish, probably about a week.
So you're a polisher of your works. You go back and you
Absolutely.
polish it and you mull. And I am so off the cuff, and that is the difference between us, darling. Yours, you can tell, is well polished. Mine's a
Stop.
little rough on the edges. No, I really do. I mean, you can tell that there's a lot of thought that has went into it. It flows well. It just transitions from one thought to another so easily, and it's a beautiful piece. So I'm sure you performed it a couple times.
Yes, I did. And it's well received because it's for writers and period. And I think sometimes we are the overlooked group.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm sure every writer can really, really tune into those um, things that you brought in there, and the metaphors that you put in there are so great. I
Thank you.
love speaking of metaphors. Don't you love metaphors?
Oh, I love that. Love it.
They're wonderful. They're wonderful. So if you could think of, and this doesn't have to be a writer necessarily. This
Okay.
can be anybody in the world. I think it's the first time I've asked this question. But if you could think of someone that you would like to have been or be, either past or present, who would that person be and why?
Hmm. If I could speak to anyone, past. Oh,
Like
definitely
if you
Jesus.
if you if you could actually live their life, is
Ooh,
there certain life that you would like to have lived? Somebody in history, recent, present, past,
I'd initially said Jesus, but I don't want to be crucified, so that's out. I'd probably be one of his disciples. I would love to see what they saw when he came up to them and said, "Hey, I'm Jesus, and I'd like you to come and follow me." And be like, "What do you mean?" You know what I mean? Follow you where?
Is it
Where we
one in
going?
particular? I was thinking maybe you don't want to be Judas.
No,
No, no, no.
I'm
So
probably more Peterish, but I'm trying not to pick him.
I would thought maybe you'd go Paul on me, but no.
Maybe Paul, because I'm as defensive as Peter, but I can see being more Paul. But I get why Peter did what he did, because we're human and we want to live. But I get a lot of it, if it kind of makes sense. So try not to.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would love to sit there and watch, and because then I would know, well, what was going to happen, and of course he would know I'm not Peter, so he'd be like, "Oh, Kim, what are you doing here?" I'd be like, "Oh, I got this wish, so I was just going to hang with Peter for a while, if you don't mind."
I know, right? Right. He's gonna hang with Peter. That's cool. I like that. And then the doubting Thomas. You probably don't want to be him. So
No, no,
no, no,
uh-uh,
definitely not Judas. That didn't
no.
happen.
So
So
that's two down. I'm trying not
two
to be
down,
Peter,
boom.
because yeah, exactly.
What about Mary Magdalene? I guess she wasn't a disciple; she was a follower.
Yeah, she did a lot too. I wouldn't mind being her either. That would be fascinating to see stuff from her perspective. Yes, she would definitely be on the list.
Yeah, yeah, I think it would be interesting because she had a life prior, and
Yes,
then she just kind of totally changed her life into following him and caring for him. So it was really, yeah, great. So, do you find that when you write, do you write very many faith-based pieces?
I do, and I also write a lot of faith into the piece, and I want people to find it. And then I write a lot of, because I have a Christian poetry book. It's mainly stepping on Christian toes, though. But because as much as I love those of us who are Christians, it's
Mhm.
just that we have gotten into the hate group of the world, and that just hurts my heart, because he was so much about love.
Yeah.
And I tend to get into arguments with people in my head, because I don't. People have said stuff to me in person, and I will answer it, not argumentatively, because I really want people to understand my point of view, which is, hopefully I'm listening, because sometimes, no, I'm gonna straighten them out. It's like, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. So, trying to be right, sometimes I can be wrong. So I'm trying to be cognizant of that. But a lot of it is us being so judgmental, that in certain areas, when I go and I say I'm a Christian, I have to put a disclaimer out, and I'd be like, not that kind. So, people would know I'm not
Right.
here to judge you. I'm not here to tell you you're going to hell. I'm trying to get in. I'm going to tell you where you're going. So it's that people say, oh,
Exactly. Exactly.
So
I
that,
think I wrote a piece probably about a year or so ago, and if my sister ever wrote it, she probably thinks I'm a heathen or something. But I basically, I was dissecting a little bit of the hypocrisies. Like when I grew up Missouri Synod Lutheran, and communion was a big thing, and I left that part, even though I was baptized and confirmed in that. I left and became a more liberal Lutheran. And then my grandma would always say, "Oh, you can't take communion, because you change churches." And I said, if I go up there and if he refuses I said communion is between me and God. And if I go up there and refuse, if he refuses me communion, then that's between him and God. And he
Right.
can't judge my heart. His heart is sinful enough, you know. So he doesn't have the right to judge my heart. That is not his duty. So you know, those types of things that,
Right.
yeah, sometimes, you know, the hypocrisies is. So I'm really more spiritual than religious. You know, believe all those things basically than when I grew up. Now I have a friend who grew up Christian and is very much is trying to convince me all the time that Jesus was never real. He never walked the earth and he never existed. And he has some proof of something somebody wrote. And I was like, okay, well, you can talk all day, but you know, it's
Right.
probably not going to work for me. So,
And it wouldn't
but
work for me.
I
I
think,
hearing
I think,
people's point of view.
yeah, I think that you and I, and being in this world, especially on the internet, where we um, learn other cultures and other people with belief systems, that we very much learn to appreciate all, you know, walks of life and all belief systems, and that, you know, we all do what we need to do for our personal peace, happiness, and joy in life. And whatever, I just think whatever it may be, if it works for you, that's good. My truth is my truth. Your truth is your truth. I don't know if you believe like that, but
I
um,
believe that, and I have an open mic where I tell people, first of all, everybody's welcome, regardless of your beliefs. Only thing
right.
I against is hate speech. So if you come in and say, all Buddhists, sit down, all Jewish, sit down, all Christians, sit down. We're not doing that. That's hate speech. Now, if you had a problem with one Christian, knock them out the box. Get
Yeah,
that word
yeah.
out. Get that poem clear. Get that song out. So my thing is being open to hearing what other people say, because if I say I'm open to talk to you about Jesus, I'm open to talk to you about what I believe I should be open to hear what you have to say with an open heart. And that's how I do it. Open heart, open heart.
Yeah. Now I always had a big thing about saved too. I've written about that. You know, when were you saved? And my answer has always been this: I have always been a child of God.
Ooh,
I've
good
always
answer.
known, I've always know that I'm saved and that I'm His child. I don't have a specific date. I've just always known that.
Yeah, that's a
So
great answer.
that's my answer. I'm sticking to it. So, but people still like, well, there has to become a certain time where you accept, and it's like,
I have no idea the date either. That's a great answer. I'm going to be using it. I'm using Annette's answer. That's going to be mine.
and it's an Annetism. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I have this, and this is going to sound weird, but I have this very distant memory. And it's like a memory. It's not like a dream. It's like this memory of like, and people are going to think I'm weird. But that's okay. But I'm like in this heavenly realm, and
Hmm.
I'm like waiting to be born. I'm this infantile kind of entity, and whoever's next to me is a male figure, says, "Okay, it's time." I know, doesn't that sound weird?
Wow.
But I have this memory, and I don't remember dreaming it. I just remember this memory. It's weird. So I don't know. So anyway, I've always been a child of God. There you go.
Yes, I like that. Let me use
So,
that.
so I'm going to have you do more. We're going to do a little impromptu thing, but we're going to save that for the end because
Okay.
um, it's going to take me that long to watch you and your magic flowing, and for me to get my courage up, probably. So no, you can't do it like you. How long? Just let me ask you this question: how long were you doing that? Because you said in the very beginning you were very uncomfortable,
Oh yeah, I
and
wouldn't have done it at all.
yeah. So how long did it take you from that feeling uncomfortable to feeling fairly comfortable in doing it?
I would say probably about 6 months to a year, because I just let go. But at first, I was judging myself. I was saying, "You should have just read it. You should have just read it."
Yeah.
Or don't ad lib. Don't add anything. It was you took all this time to write it that way. Why are you ad libbing?
Yeah.
So then I'm like, but sometimes the ad libs were okay, and then sometimes I was uncomfortable. But I'm like, that didn't go bad. No one in the audience went, "Oh, why did
Yeah.
you do that?" It's all up in here. So I was just like, just let it go. Just let it
Sometimes
go.
you just have to throw yourself in the fire. You know,
Yes.
we have one comment. Oh, KD Sharonford. Do you know her? She is a great novelist. She has, in fact, I have her latest novel. She is brilliant. She's from Great Britain, and let me see if I can find her. You need to come on here. We were going to do this, and then some things happened with me. So, but she writes about Sherlock Holmes.
Oh,
And
wow.
and when I read her stuff, I'm just so amazed because I know that because she does a lot of factual stuff, historical stuff, and that she's
Mm,
had to go back and go into history and really study, and do research. And I'm just amazed. She's marvelous, and she's received some awards. Let me see if I can find her real quick so I can
okay.
show you her. But if you like to read, she has these amazing books, and she's just absolutely brilliant. Um, I'm trying to find a picture of her. Well, that's the first one. Anyway, actually, this is her, and this is a great picture. I don't know if you can see this or not. So
Wow.
she is on this side. What? No, wait. I'm trying to figure out what my right. That's she, and then that must be Sherlock Holmes and the other lady. I'm thinking in there. I was trying to remember her name. I should know her name, but she's absolutely marvelous. So if you like that period kind of stuff, she's wonderful. So welcome, and we'll get together and do you pretty soon. So
Yay.
I'm going to give. Oh, Irene. Thank you, Irene Adler.
Ah,
That's right. Who was like an opera singer, right? She was an opera singer and performed, and Sherlock kind of fell in love with her, and they have kids, and stuff happens because if it's Sherlock. And I moved and I misplaced her latest novel somewhere. I was starting to read it, so I have to find it again. She said that would be great. Thanks. Yeah. So she'll come soon, and we'll share, and she'll be a great one to have on. I believe she just hasn't written too much poetry. I think she's maybe done a piece or two or something, but I know that I think it was your father or mother who wrote. I was thinking father, maybe. Is that right, KD? Is your father who was a poet, and she ended up reading part of his stuff. I'm wondering if did Alan Johnson do a thing on your dad's poem? Anyway, sorry to her dad. She said yes, and I'm thinking Alan Johnson might have gifted her with one of her dad's poems. Did you know Alan? You probably don't know Alan. So Alan was the voice. He was like from uh, over in England, and he had his voice, and you'd give him your piece, and he was a musician, so he'd compose the music, he would narrate it, and he would make the video. I have several of them, and so he was just this amazing voice. And in fact, you and Alan did on YouTube. I did it too. I don't know. I'll have to go back and revisit that. So I think it was for a contest and she won. I don't remember, but anyway, we got it. So back to Kim B. Miller. Um, Kim, is this next one going to be written or read, or is it going to be impromptu?
this one, these are already written.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want, but in the end, we're ending impromptu.
Absolutely.
All right, so I'm going to give the stage back to you. Can't wait to hear what you have for us.
Okay, thank you so much. So I'm going to do a few haiku for you guys. Haiku is both singular and plural. That's why you don't hear me saying haikus. Haiku are Japanese poetry, and there's more than one type of haiku, but the most popular, allegedly, the most popular one is the 575. That's the amount of syllables on each line. 575. 3 lines, 17 syllables total. Traditional ones are only on nature. Non-traditional ones could be any subject. That's something that was taken way before me. Before you come and say that's not how it's written, I know that. The non-traditional ones are called senryu, but in the performance poetry world, we call all of them haiku. We know if you hear it and it's traditional, it'll only be on nature. You hear it and it's not on nature, you'll know it's non-traditional. Typically, it's not going to be a haiku in the true sense of the word anyway, because Japanese language is not the equivalent to um, English language. In Japanese language, they use moras In English language, we use syllables. They're not quite equatable, but that's the closest things that people came to. So anyway, I say haiku before each one just because I like to. Haiku. Let's be real. You are not an athlete. You're just running from your demons. Haiku. Just because they're in your nest, that does not mean they want to see you fly. Haiku. How come super is a man, but we have to wonder about woman? For those of you who don't get that one, I normally don't explain it, but I'll give you a hint on that one. Superman, Wonder Woman. Okay. Haiku. Some of you do not have haters unless your mirror started talking.
These are great. Are these in your book? Are these in your book?
Yes, these are in my book. I
gotta get your book.
Two
Okay.
new haiku books. One is called Brooklyn Flavored Haiku. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. That one has over 250, and that one's for all readers. And I have another one called 17 Syllables of Poetic Ammo. That one has over 350 haiku, and that one is not for children. Haiku. You're not playing chess. You're on the board being played. A pawn wrapped in skin.
Oh my gosh.
Haiku. You envy and want folks' victories, but with that, their struggles come too.
Yay. Snap, snap, snap.
Haiku. You practice hard to be low-hanging fruit and got mad when you were picked. Haiku.
Who knew you were so humorous? Wow.
I try. If you won't think outside of your box, you are living in a coffin.
Whoa, whoa.
Haiku. Dogs are man's best friend? Really? Cats don't tell police where your drugs are.
Oh,
I love doing that one in a live audience because whoever's laughing, and then they're like, wait a minute, what a little snitch. Haiku. Stop overworking yourself for someone who considers you a job.
Ooh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, I like that.
Let's see. Haiku. Be for real. Stop asking people to treat you better than you treat you.
Yay. I'm all about that, right?
Yes. And let's see, I'll end with this one. Ignorance is cheap. Knowledge is free. Stupidity is expensive.
Those are the best haikus I've ever heard. I just love them. Those are non-traditional people.
Yes.
So that's the non-traditional haiku. And you really explained haiku very good in the beginning. And that is exactly right. The traditional is all about nature. And then you have the non-traditional, which actually are more fun apparently than the traditional. So I'm just saying. Those were marvelous. It just made me laugh. Thanks for making me laugh. It is good therapy to laugh, and I need some laughter. So, yeah, they were wonderful. Do you enjoy now? Haikus don't take you too long to do, right?
It depends on the one. Some of them
Oh,
do.
depends.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, I could see where, yeah, you could go back and tweaking those things too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or you
And
write it and
do you sit there with your fingers going the syllables?
I do.
I do too. I do too. Just as soon as you don't, you get an extra syllable on there, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, that is great. I loved it. I thought it was fun, fun, fun. I'm gonna have to get your books, girlfriend. So I'll be doing that. I would love to see you perform sometime live. Yes. Do you ever
Yeah.
do like open mics anywhere?
Oh, yes. I host an open mic every third Monday at Clearbrook
Mm,
Center of the Arts in Lake Ridge, Virginia.
maybe I'll just show up someday. Just show up.
Yay.
What time of day is it though?
Doors open at 6:30 and the show starts at 7 p.m.
Yeah, it's probably about 3 or 4 hours for me. So I'd have to leave. Never know. It could happen. I could just show up someday and just
Okay.
watch. Now you're hosting. Are you also performing?
Always, yes.
Good, 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 good. That is great. I loved it. Um, well, I don't know if. Well, let me ask you a couple more questions before we go. So I know that you're married, and I might have
Mhm.
asked you this question last time, whether or not your husband's supportive of your art and what you do.
Yes, I'm married for over 20 years. We are high school see, I can't even say it. Sweethearts
That's great.
who broke up, married other people, and then eventually got back together. So we were truly meant to be. And
Wow.
he loves what I do. And when the TED Talk came out, he called people like a little proud person. Oh, my wife has a TED Talk, so it was really cute that I spoke to so and so, and I told him. It was really adorable. So yeah, he's definitely pro me doing what God put me on this earth to do.
So he's your big cheerleader then. He's there for you.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. I found that I think it would be very difficult to be with someone who doesn't support and doesn't have some type of passion for your passion, you know.
Yes,
So yeah,
absolutely.
always great thing. So congratulations on and you got together. You've been married like for 20 years now?
Yeah, over 20 years. Yes,
Oh, great. And the secret to a long happy marriage is
is not being so stuck in yourself, understanding that the person may be doing something through their pain. As I tell people, pain speaks before logic ever will.
wow.
And that you have to deal with the person where they're at and not where you want them to be.
Great answers. I'm glad this is recorded. I'm going to revisit those answers. No, because they're all very unique and very true, and not usually the responses I get. Very unique responses, very cerebral responses, really. Um, have you been asked that question before?
I have, and I when we got married, I made him one promise, and I always laugh when I tell people that because they always go to the typical, "You love him forever." No, I didn't say that crap. He already knew that. We wouldn't be getting married if I didn't love him. So no, I didn't say that. I love you forever. No, I said he'd never be bored.
Like that. You'll never be bored.
Yes.
Wow. I might have another man for you in case something ever happens with that relationship. My narcissistic friend, who I've since done away with, who has never been married, and his thing was that he wanted a woman who would make him excited to come home every night. So
Wow.
that might have been you, because
Oh.
I told him no woman like that existed. I might have been wrong. It's Cindy Miller. Cindy Miller. You need to clone her. So there you go. But that is an exciting thing. Yeah, that you'd never be bored. But you're
Oh,
amusing. You can tell you have a sense of humor when when you write your haikus. It really comes out. And do you make each other laugh? Do you laugh a lot together?
absolutely. We laugh all the time, and
Isn't that great? Don't you think that that is just one of the, to me, that's one of the most attractive qualities in a man that not many actually have. Ooh, I see that.
exactly. Too
But
serious, too
yeah,
rude. Yeah. So I'm like, we gotta have fun. This is it.
I
This
mean, I
is
like
life.
intelligence, but I like that goofy side too, you know?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Because you can't laugh if they're not intelligent. People don't understand that because what are you laughing at? So the
I know.
intelligence comes with the laughter.
It really does because intelligent and wit is actually, being witty is very intelligent means of communicating. So if I
Absolutely.
get the right person, there's not too many people I can do it with, but I can do a good banter back and forth. I just love that.
Yes.
But
Yes.
it's hard to find somebody like that. But you can go boom, 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 and
Yes.
yeah, it's great. But well, the time has come, I think, for let me see. Let me take a deep breath. Because now, last time we just did off the cuff. She did something, and I thought, ooh, we need to try this. And so now I know it's been coming. Not that anxiety is built up, but now that the time has come, and Kim's starting it off, which I'm excited for. But y'all just know that she's a professional. I'm the non-professional at doing this. I'm not used to doing it. So if I blubbery all over the. I don't know. If I mess up, forgive me and just know she needs to practice. She needs to
She's
practice.
great. Don't let her fool you. She's great.
So Kim, you're going to start out. I'm going to make us. Let me make us bigger. Let me make us bigger. There.
Okay.
Now you
Perfect.
can really see that short haircut. Forgive the haircut, y'all. My little butchery thing I had. So this is going to be impromptu, ad lib kind of thing, freestyle. You call it freestyle,
Yes.
freestyling. And last time we did it turned out really good. Kim is going to start it this time. She'll do a couple lines. I'll do a couple lines, or however you want to do it,
Okay.
and we'll see what we can come up with. So
Absolutely. Having some fun with poetry. Okay. Here we go. I'm a single flower. I'm in the garden you put me in. Now you don't want to water me. What happened to how beautiful I am?
once I was beautiful for a period of time when you watered me, and I got so much attention. Butterflies, fireflies, bumblebees. Now I'm starting to wither. My friends no longer come to visit me. You need to come visit me.
I've been alone so long, I forgot what your company feels like. You said this was going to be a garden of love, but I seem to be in solitude more often than not. The sun shines, yes. The wind keeps me company. It's the only hugs I get these days. You seem so distant. Togetherness has too many syllables. Even two is too much because I'm singular. Dirt seems to be where you said I deserve to be. When did that happen?
I didn't even have a chance to really grow my roots. The water, the lack of, I haven't been grounded. This place is my home, yet it's not a sanctuary for me. Where are the other ones that should be next to me? The other various flowers of different variety that I too can get pleasure in seeing them. But with your lack of attention, do we really show our true colors? Are we at our optimum? Are we able to relay the beauty that we really have within us that you're withholding from us because of lack of nurturing?
I was a family. This used to be a garden before you got here, before you cut every living thing that surrounded me. I wasn't by myself. I came from a beautiful garden of people who cared about me. But you weren't happy until it was just me and you. But now it's really just me. So it was never about us. It was about you in control. You, the gardener, you, the pruner, you, the fertilizer, you deciding where everything goes and where everything doesn't. Well, even a gardener can be replaced.
So, do you care so very little of me that you would like to see my demise. Here I am in this sweltering heat. Occasionally a breeze comes by, and yes, I'm able to dance for a while, get movement, exercise. But then I see you off in a distance, and you are doing your duties, but yet neglecting me. You mow the lawn, you feed the birds, but then you forget to water me. Do I not deserve the same consideration? Am I not as important as those things?
Things always were the tools you used to ignore me. I wonder if you even see me anymore. I just think I'm an accessory to a garden you didn't even want. You only looked at me now that I think about it when there was others in the garden. Now that I'm isolated and alone, you can't be bothered. You know, you didn't give this flower enough credit. You may be a you may have been the one who did the pruning, but I'm the one who decides whether or not I stay. I will not stay.
Last night, it was a moonlit night. The stars were out, and a slight breeze came along. Shortly afterwards, a shower, a rain shower. I was so excited. Finally, finally, my thirst can be quenched and I can thrive a little bit longer. It was a glorious night, one that I won't forget. It's almost as if there was this symphony happening to glorify my event because in the background I could hear the tree frogs singing their song as the rain was coming down, and I finally felt vindicated. I finally felt important, but that came from the heavens. It didn't come from you.
And the heavens gave me the strength to leave you. This flower, the thing you thought you planted, you had nothing to do with. You were the accessory, not me. Yes, that beautiful shower washed away all doubt I had. The sun is shining even in the midst of this storm because I see me. And better yet, I see you. Goodbye. Don't bother singing a song. Don't bother telling me how pretty I look. Don't bother saying anything. I'm gone, and so are you.
Woo, woo, woo. It's pretty good, huh?
Yes.
We did our thing about nature last time, which is kind of fun to do. Yeah, we
Yes.
did a
It's a
nature thing
beautiful,
last time.
you know, identifiable.
Yeah, yeah, that was fun. I'll have to go back and look at that because it's always so much better when you go back and you look at it and you think, well, she did good. But you are, I don't know how I did. It might be painful
You did
for me.
great. What are you saying? That was fantastic.
Well, we're storytellers too. Speaking of
Yes.
which, have you done much as far as have you done short stories and so forth? You should be so good at it.
Yeah, I've thought about it. I haven't seriously went down that rabbit hole, but I have considered it.
You need to do it. Later on, I'll share a link with you. It actually is to the Pop Star Poetry's website. I think I have one short story there. Willow Tree of Forgotten Love. I don't know. Anyway, the Willow Tree one. They got published in a book, but it's a short story. I'm a little heavy on the imagery, but
Got it.
see, you would be so good at that too. You do all that. You do the imagery. You do you're so good at the metaphors, and yeah. So one of these days, I challenge you.
Okay. Fair.
Um, and then I want you to share it with me because I'm sure it'll be marvelous. Actually, then you can come back on and share it on here. And
Sounds like a deal.
but so thank you so much, my friend. we have something that we might be having in the works in the future that I'm hoping we can do. Should we talk about it or not talk about it?
I don't know. Well, I don't know if we have enough info yet.
We will keep it on the back burner, but there might be something exciting come up in the future for the poetry world that is close by. So, anyway, it is a delight. You are so magnificent and you are just an inspiration in so many ways. Just even your responses to the questions are just guttural. You know that they come from within you. You know that you're genuinely, you know, not pure because none of us is genuinely pure, but you definitely have this goodness in you that not all possess, and certainly is unique to you and makes Kim B. Miller. But you keep shining and doing you, and I will just sit back in the background and watch your star rising to the top because
And
that's where you're going.
thank you for the platform and all you do for the poetry community and all you're doing for all of us because it's a tremendous amount of work. People just don't understand. And I am forever grateful for all you're doing for all of us. And your songwritings, don't let her fool you. She's an awesome writer. Awesome.
Well, thank you so much. And Kim B. Miller, love you. Love and
Right.
blessings to everyone. Mwah, yes. Love and blessings to everyone. And come back again in the future, Kim. Love those
Absolutely.
haikus. Those just that made my day, girlfriend. I was just like, I laughed so much. So thank you so much. Thank you for being you, and thank you for having blessed us with your presence here today. Goodbye to everyone. Everyone, have a great rest of your Sunday. Take good care. Bye bye, everyone.